right, welcome back on another Sunday drive. Finally nice weather here in North Texas. So it occurred to me, the first video, I didn't mention why I named the channel, why I named it, what I named it. Key on the left. It's asked so many times from other people getting into Porsche, why is the key on the left? Every Porsche since the 50s, the key is on the left, even in a left-hand drive car. And it stems from the early days of Le Mans when Porsche was getting into racing, and the engineers found out that because the drivers had to race to the car on foot, jump in, put the key in, start it, put it in gear and go, if they had the keys in their left hand and their hand on the right hand on the gear shift, they could save about a second, and that seemed to be enough for some victories, and they've kept it there ever since as homage to their racing history. So it's pretty neat, pretty fun to, no matter what car it is. Even the SUVs today have key on the left. So it's pretty neat history. So there are other things that I didn't know, wasn't aware of, etc. when I bought the car. Not the least of which is you can hear engine sounds that you've never heard before in a front engine car. The engine is literally 8 inches behind me right now, and you can hear all the ticks, you can hear the belt, you can hear everything in the drivetrain, and it's a little disconcerting when you first get in. You're like, is it supposed to sound like that? Is it? But it's just because you've never heard those noises before. You've never been this close to the back of the engine before, so it's pretty interesting. But it also adds to the intoxication of the engine sounds. The intake, the exhaust, everything is all added together. So the whine is it's part of the beauty of it. Whoa, a little tight there. Fun curve. Thing I didn't expect was all of the laughs, waves, honks, thumbs ups, kids in their car taking a picture of you driving down the road. For me, the ownership of a Porsche had nothing to do with who's watching me driving. I've always been interested in the driving experience and how these cars deeply involve you in the act of driving. But one of the most enjoyable things is all the smiles and waves and looks you get, because it brings joy to people. It brings joy to me, and it certainly is fun. And I didn't expect how much of that there would be.
It certainly is a thing of beauty.
It is pretty. It's rolling art.
It's very pretty.
Had a little kick out there. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
How long did it take you to find this car model?
So, I looked for probably 2 or 3 years, really, just casually. And when I really decided to look and decided to find one to go ahead and purchase, it was several months. And I caught this one the day it hit the market, and it checked all the boxes. So one owner, it was garaged and maintained, had the proper maintenance done. It car. I think if you're a 15-year-old, 16 now, 15-year-old, 3,000-mile car, it might give you a red flag. This one had 27.5 on it, and
you mean a red flag because it's not true?
A red flag? No, a red flag because it's not driven enough.
Oh.
Because these cars need to be driven. Just the type of engine, it just means they've never been. They don't get them hot. So how I always say when we get out, I don't want to just start it and move it. We want to drive it. So that's something that I didn't know until I was really researching. I found a couple that were very low mileage, and people on the boards and the internet groups, Facebook pages, they all warn, don't do that. It's better to buy a 60,000 mile car than a 3,000 mile car, because it's been driven and they've done the proper maintenance, so it just it makes more sense. Oh wow, C130. He's falling. I'm gonna turn.
Although when you drive the other car into the garage, I have to say it shakes the whole house.
Oh, the Audi, yeah, it's got a pretty nice exhaust.
Sorry.
So speaking of engine, one of the things that I've learned that I was certainly not used to or ready for, the optimal operating RPM for these engines, you really want to run them at 3,000 RPM or higher. Like this, you can hear the sound. I'm at 3,000 RPM in second gear. I'm doing 32 miles an hour. I'm in a highly patrolled area near where we live, and 30's tops. Want to drive at 3,000 or higher, unless you're on the highway and cruising speed, 6 gear, it's a little below 3, but you're not used to hearing the sounds that you're getting. One last thing, as you can see, maybe there's a lot of headroom in this car. The thing I think that shocked me or stood out to me really quickly when I first began to test drive these cars is that even though I'm 5'11", 175-ish, average size guy, it's really snug. It's the seats hug you more than any car I've ever owned. It's built for a track, obviously, the way the seats are, the seating position, your hands go right where they're supposed to. It's very intuitively put together, but it is very small. Compared to my daily My daily is an A5 coupe. It feels like a Bentley when I get back into it, which is cool. It's great, but this thing is really small.